Again, from the outset, let me thank Dr. Grant for your contribution and leadership as you came into the leadership of the sector. You changed the role with your brother, Dr. Charles, and yourself, changed the role. And I want to see all of them here in this group. One now heading married, another one heading agriculture. I see the former secretary Mobi here also sitting in front. It just warms my heart to see Papua New Guinea to all specialists that have interest in agriculture, not fighting for jobs, but still in the sector and complementing each other. I really want to appreciate that you are not in contest, but you complementary service to your country in various capacities, your government and your country is I want to appreciate the partners of these sessions, CIMC for your engagements and partnership here, World Bank for your partnership in this space, all the private sector, from here, Connect Chicken, the country partners from Agro, and all others who are here. Thank you very much for your commitment to this conference. But more importantly, as we work the 2024, 2033 agricultural sector plan, we must step up now. 2024 is the time. We will not get it back. We're now in 25. 2025 is the 15th anniversary of our nation's independence, and we must work. You look at how Steve Powell just told us earlier, 1975, 3 million people, thereabouts. Policemen number and ratio to people, okay. Today the population is tripled and the challenges is multiple. And it is in haste that all of us are tasked with public policy to really step out and unbundle those policies, unbundle those regulations so that they could be complementary to the private sector and society to grow in our midst. And the agricultural sector for me is no secret, all of you know. We arrived in office in 2019, knowing that this was the status quo facing us, the prevalent economic and social issues facing us. High amongst them was unemployment, engagement by our youth, and the restlessness in our society. And knowing that intrinsically we are an agricultural nation, intrinsically we are a people that is in touch with land, sea, and the culture that is associated with it. But we made it no secret that agriculture will remain be our key focus and priority. That was a focus we set in 2019. From 2019 to 2021, we worked through COVID-19 to step us in the middle of this. We returned to office in 2022, knowing the downside. For me, having been around since 2007 in government, knowing that the agricultural sector is a big sector, with a focus on agriculture, we cannot have one minister doing his round amongst all the agencies that is in agriculture. We deliberately split agriculture into four ministries. Minister Boito heads the mainstream agriculture department. Minister Gisa looks after the livestock sector. Minister Marape in the oil palm sector, and of course Minister Bando in the coffee sector. This was not just arriving one morning and decide to give a job to the 4 ministers. It was rather a target to have a leadership lead over specific sectors to ramp up production, replace import, export, and from this linking to our people, our farmers, our growers. And so we made this deliberate call. Many thought James Marape was stupid. Well, I may be stupid in some area, but one thing I definitely know is that our people are on land and people need to be productive. In fact, we've lost national productivity by miles. We've lost national productivity by miles. I grew up with my parents' generation who were working the land. Today, government pays free education government pays free education, so almost 90% of our people who are on the land have savings already made by government paying their children's school fee. They have time on hand and they own the land. And so linking people, land, time to actual productivity, and for us, government and private sector, finding the market or bringing market closer to them, and then supplementing those imports we're importing, as well as ramping up on export, hence the export earnings for the country. I want to say that has been our focus. We have moved some miles in the focus area, but to be honest, not to my liking. World Bank, IMF, ADB, Central Bank confirms that for the first time in our nation's history, 4 years in a row, we posted about 4% growth in the non-resource sector of our economy. Never since 1975 has this sector of the economy posted 4% growth 4 years in a row. And we've posted 4% growth 4 years in a row, but I want us to ramp up this pace. When we launched the medium-term development plan 4, we said 1 million family must be employed. The definition of my employment, I said on Monday, differs completely with Australian National University or all the other universities in the world that define employment as a paid job. Are different. It is not about paid job. It's about productive economic activity that earns the family or individual money to sustain their life in this day and age where our cash economy is functioning. And so agriculture has that greatest potential to quickly migrate our people into cash economy, productive economy. This is where people can learn. And if we can harness them and bring them out into actual cash flow productivity, then they're earning. Compounded with the savings they make in not paying their children's school fee, our people will be better placed at the very earliest. And so our focus on the primary industry has been second to none. If I would respectfully place my government against past government. The only other government that seriously tried this was a Winty government sometimes in the 80s or 90s. Gave strong focus on agriculture, but it got lost because he lived only for 2 years. And so in the swell of government formations, sometimes focus and priority get lost along the way. I want us, this generation, especially those of you who are out there, looking for a job, the graduating classes in our university and colleges, whilst you're equipped with basic knowledge, there are alternates and options out there. Your plan, your tribe, your people can learn. Why don't you be productive with that land? The Kato Koroka generations, the Saman Korowa generations, the Akapitan Miyakwe generations, the Wamiri generations, I'm naming some of you, the Minister Boyko, what's our the Giregere, of course, the Senior Giregere, but the Coffee King in Canada. Pharaoh, the Pharaoh, that's a generation. Is Pharaoh here? Number, you know that Pharaoh. He told me one time, he started out in 1970 or 69 with only 4 cents. And from there, he became what he is today. There's a guy in Port Moresby, a young Papua New Guinea, a guy in Port Moresby from Pangaea. And I'll call his name. He's now a real estate tycoon. He's now a real estate tycoon in Port Moresby. He started in 1984 buying coffee, growing coffee in Pangaea. Not from oil and gas money. Today he owns more than 1,000 properties in Port Moresby. Bought himself a helicopter. He's now the owner of Alatau International Hotel. You think agriculture and coffee cannot make you become somebody? These are grade 3 dropouts. These are Provincial Papua New Guineans. They have nothing but determination, guts, and hard work for a long time. Young Papua New Guineans, Minister Marape is not going to spoon feed you all the life. You can throw me out tomorrow, but you'll be in the same spot if you don't take this sort of advice. Land, energy, now you have intelligence, and with the accessibility of cyber, e-commerce and market out there, And with me now, the government opening up market to Asia nearby, we have more competitive advantage than many out there. You know, when we talk about loan, and I do appreciate we investing more. I want to talk about some things we are doing as a government so that those who be in the sector know exactly what is happening, and we're also able to plan. Phil and your team, the men and holdings, and all of you who are already in business. I just want you to plan, and I hear you very loud and clear. The government must step up and partner. Part of the reason why I'm here this afternoon is to pick up your resolutions. Whether it's for market access, whether it's for law and order, whether it's for standard and Nokia space, whether it's for science and research, I want to give you all my fullest support as the leader of our country, that your time is right in the construct of our future university and beyond. We must go back to the basis where God has given us land. The fathers of our country have not alienated your land in 1975. I say thank you to Somalia's generation forever. They have wisdom. They have never alienated land from people in the construct of our country's constitution in 1975. It was within their reach. As construct of public policy in our country's constitution, they could have easily said all land belongs to state. But no. They allow land to be inherently part of the land structure and equal. They settled on the 3% state-owned before 1975. The greatest asset Papua New Guinea has is your land, the land rights. It is just for us to ramp up productivity. And arriving on scene as government in 2019, we've launched out the price support policy. Unfortunately, the Agriculture Department, I have to say, 6 years on, we're still slow in setting up a structure and a mechanism to get the price policy mechanism working. Government intention has been there from politicians' perspective. Agriculture Department, 6 years on, I do not have it's not about the money, it's about a structure to deliver price support. I need a clear structure to deliver price support. We set up freight support. And we allocated some funding, some possibly last year never came, but the intention was there, budget was there. How can I give you actual money when you have not given me yet? The policy mechanism, the structure to deliver the freight support. Is that okay? Arrived in 2019, 2020, started allocating price support and freight support. We worked on Connect PNG. Yesterday I was shown a video in the tourism program last night. For the first time since 1975, we can drive past Hidenberg Wall into Telefomi. Have you ever dreamt it will happen in a lifetime? No one thought Telefomi would be accessed by road. Today you can drive past through Kimga, Tabubil, Olsabin, and into Telefomi. 2 years ago, I drove one Christmas from Tari, Kudupu, to Kikori, and Kikori to Erawe, to Kabua, right through all the way to Malay. The first time we could drive from Kikori into Southern Highways. The opening of road. This Christmas, if not earlier, I want to do it before September. I want to drive from Ley to Port Moresby or Port Moresby. Never done it before. Building roads, places like Kantiba, places like Yama, Asiki, Marawaka, Coffee, kept in the hinterlands, but they cannot come to the market. So we're building roads in this place. Our government overlaid another 2 billion kina on top, making 2-lane bridges, including the Yellow 4-lane bridge. Run today, travel time to Hagen is much shorter than the 15 hours earlier. Today you do it under 8 hours. Cost of transportation, bring product to the market here. As I said, on Monday, almost all our ports are import ports and not export ports. Yet we have enough land to make them become major on par. The amount imported, amount exported, so that our productions are finding market also. And so we work in the infrastructure space, not just the roads for Connect PNG, but 6 major ports in our country, partnering Australia as in facelift. Kimber Port, KVN Port, Oro Port, of course, Ley and Port Moresby. And then we will work on Bereng, Wiwek, and Wellington. So these infrastructures have been worked upon, but it's totally in vain if production in our country is not increased. And so the infrastructure has been worked upon. Police recruit has started, we're ramping up police. Somebody would have seen last week, Friday, we attacked, getting rid of all the high cars, making savings there, putting back restoring and equipping our police force. Recruitment is running as we speak. We want to build up to 10,000 policemen at the very earliest to deal with lawlessness in our country. I want to appreciate Steve's interest in the lower level justice administration. Steve, I want to tell you for the first time now, we've now brought in all village court magistrates into payroll so that they could be out there in our society, adjudicate and learn and other matters that is prevalent in our community. Village courts and councillors are now put into consistent pay in our pay system every fortnight. There'll be any money or the any money now as we speak. All these reforms are running in different elements, but all with the intention to make the economy with the right ambience to make it work better. Someone pick up the copy of the new Income Tax Act 2025. We were operating as far as our income tax was concerned on 1959 Act. And some of you were born in 1959. It's historic. It belongs to the archives. Yet we were operating on 1959 Act. We were operating on 1959 Act. I don't need to ask who is older than 1959 in any case. But we've made this new Income Tax Act that gives incentive in law. Incentive to agriculture and incentive to rural investments. Pick up this law. It's a very interesting law, good law. We passed, and if we need to improve this one, I am open to give more incentive, especially to rural investors and more so to agriculture, tourism, fisheries investors. So pick a copy of this law. It must assist you. I believe in lowering tax, giving incentives. I took advice on certain tariff measures that must be done. Yesterday I bumped into some business community. They also looking asked for the tax tariff conversations, and so our ears are open so that we protect and grow our local economy. I want to also say something we also are doing. We open the Chinese market in a big way, never mind. We open Chinese market in a big way, never mind. But also we are producing agricultural product here, supplying a local market. But the photo-sanitary requirements are signed an MOU with none other than President Xi Jinping himself at Beijing. Other countries were slow in giving us clearance for our products to hit the market. China opened up market big time. Today, coffee, another agricultural produce can go to China. We've opened up that market. It's a market of 1.4 billion people going 1.5 billion. It will be the biggest market in the world into the future. And so with PNG, thanks to our One China policy, a good relationship we have with Beijing, they have opened up our market access to China. Please, just work the space. And if you find any problem, Nakia, we're fixing up Nakia very, very soon. There's a paper before cabinet. Nakia leadership is being looked at. We've strengthened with confidence in Nakia. We'll make sure that it is producing or serving this space so that whatever we produce can be exported. A conversation with Singapore Prime Minister. He told me, my brother, we're buying chicken all the way from Brazil. Hello, did you get this? Chicken from Brazil. Now where is Brazil and where is Singapore? They're sleeping at night, they're flying away. You eat chicken in Singapore, it's very fresh every time. The chicken comes from Brazil, it's naturally part of the chicken. And so he asked me, just make sure the standard is Singapore standard, and we can buy from you too. So the market is nearby, our ASEAN marketplaces, our Asian marketplaces, and of course, our own traditional Australia, New Zealand, and the Pacific marketplace. It is there for us. We're working through our bilateral partnerships to open biosecurity relationship like never before, and already China is open. It's an endless market there. Mr. President told me, Prime Minister, I am like a big ocean. You talk about your coffee or you talk about anything, I'm like a big ocean. What does the ocean do? Maka wara to ocean and epsa pula pa maka. Maka boy, but ocean no pula. He told me himself, I am like China is like a big ocean. Whatever you produce will not be enough. And he told me to partner Guangdong province. You know Guangdong province? They said partner Guangdong province. They opened one flight now, Guangzhou to Port Moresby. Started off with one flight a week. Today we have 3 flights a week. 3 flights a week. That market is open. You know Guangdong province? Someone do your research. That province is bigger than Russia in the economic size. That province is bigger than Russia in the economic size. So the conversation ocean, they're like ocean, meaning they could subsume anything we produce is right there for us. My brothers and sisters in agriculture, don't be discouraged. Get going, produce, supply local market, produce to the external market. To make this and to ensure that you are all maybe resourced, last night we launched Papua New Guinea's own national banking corporation. Originally started off as a subsidiary of NDB, but we now going commercial. NDB remains NDB, but it will now go commercial, meaning accepting deposits and also lending. And government will partner this bank. This bank has footprint right now already in 10 provinces. I call upon all the other provincial governments. The reason why this bank is in Tari right now is not because NDB built a branch. Tari district built a branch. We built a branch in 2018, 2017, 2016. My DSIP from my district invested in building a modern branch. It's now in Tari. I call upon all provincial governors. Last kilo worried on national politics, you have 5 years. You don't have 18 months grace period in the provincial ministry. The organic law of provincial and local level government gives you governance power to sit in your provinces and make critical policy interventions, including fixing village courts up, setting up village court magistrates, reset police, mobilizing land, allocating your livestock officers, agriculture officers, business development officers, already public sector. Paid already. Why can you do not need to go down to this district and province? There are provincial structures in place already to address this. I call upon all provincial governors. You assist us. The banks, you can build a branch. The bank was given direction that all 21 provinces must have a branch. Going back to the PNGBC days, PNGBC was spoiled by politicians and economists in the late 90s. I told Minister Duma and the team last night, we will detach ourselves, allow the bank to run in its own way as a commercial bank, and government overlay with guaranteed fundings so they could lend to agriculture and tourism businesses in a big way, and Papua New Guineans will have that. Real person. Real person. This is like Papua New Guinea, you know, man got name, and we got name, and we got ground, and we sit down long. House line no can stop. How can commercial bank of having a man to no give money to make your business? So we're now having our own bank. We tried partnership with banks, that's one, but they are driven by profit also. And sometimes they cannot go out there fully. So people now, the state-owned enterprises have now worked with central bank. They qualify, they have their banking license. So the bank is set up now. We roll out partnering, provincial governments will willing to partner, and for 10 branches already there, this will be a bank that we will put in credit funds as security, so that you borrow against security that we put. And we tried this already out in the last 3 years with our funds in the banks. I thank BSV and I thank NDB. They tried partnering with us, but we're starting this concept. We want to go big in a big way. So farmers out there who want to borrow 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. They have land already. They're in the business space. We can link them into doing this work. And this is something that is available. Our agriculture department to work this space highly. We have credit facilities made available. For me, I'm looking at long-term lendings. 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, intergenerational learning to empower families who own land. They could be engaged in commercial agriculture, commercial livestock, feeding the already existing livestock and agricultural businesses in our country through the extension programs. So I want to say the intention is there, different public policies are running around, look into what you've already offered by way of resolutions. And Secretary Dr. Bank, enough protocol now. Let's get to work. I just want you to get to work. Enough protocol. Talk plenty things. Let's get to work. Government will consider all your resolutions and what we can do to unbundle those things that are free. The policy must be tweaked and we looked at. We will change those policies. I want you all to remain focused. Central Agriculture Department, 5 provincial governments who want to partner. 5 provincial governments who want to partner. 3 years ago, I passed, for an example, 5 billion kina to East Pacific provincial government to scan and map out the entire East Pacific plain, biggest plain in the country. That's 2021. 4 years later, East Pacific provincial government keeps on rolling on the 5 million every year. Not coming up with a clear plan to unbundle the biggest plain we have in the country for agricultural industry. Mr. Secretary, 5 provincial governments who want to work. We partner them. We don't need to conquer the entire country, make 1 or 2 or 3 areas work. That's what I think. Thank you so much.